So today we're talking about Vedic somatic awareness and aromatherapy. We're going to focus on emotional regulation, nervous system balance, and professional pathway to that. And this is what you'll experience today. You'll understand what somatic awareness is, how aromatherapy affects body and mind, emotional regulation through sense and awareness, guided somatic practice. We'll do that with or without oils. I know we didn't announce that you should bring your favorite essential oil, but we will get to practice that. And then we could talk a little bit about pathways into professional training from there. So the question, what is somatic awareness? So somatic awareness, I would say, it's awareness of internal body sensations. It's tracking breath, tension, temperature, subtle shifts within your body. So you want to connect with your body in a way that you get real-time feedback from your body and you become aware of it. You actually feel that sensation and you're able to sit with it. Now, what is Vedic perspective on the nervous system? Connecting with the body, mind, and consciousness. So, nervous system, we know that whenever we have all experienced stress on one level or another. And through this practice, what we become aware of is where that stress is more felt and the sensation has home. And a nervous system, we know that we have basically through this practice, we are activating the parasympathetic nervous system, where we bring our nervous system back to a state of rest and calm. And that's what most of the Vedic practices are. Vedic practices always look to bring us back home to our body, to our mind, to a state of being aware of this is not me. I have to reconnect with me and bring us back to that natural order. Now, looking at aromatherapy and context of this Vedic practice that we do, or somatic awareness that we do, it's beyond scent. So we already know, most of you probably do in our program, what we teach is what is aromas themselves. You learn like all the compounds and everything, but that's like the intellectual part of it. What we experience through aromas is that mental and emotional and physical release of what is there as a not, if you would put it in a very simple word, or something that is not being at ease or a state of imbalance. So what aromatherapy does, it allows us to connect with our emotions, connect with the memory of that emotion, and helps us bring it up to a conscious level where we're able to see that is it really something that the body should hold on to or let go. And aromas really help with that. One example that maybe I can give to everybody is like when you are passing by at a bakery, right? You smell like a cookie that brings you back home to a memory of like, you're like, oh, this reminds me when I was a child and I had this cookie. Maybe it was like makes you think of home, makes you think of aromas are the same. They bring you back to that state. And with that state, it could activate so many more memories as we go. Some could be pleasant, some could be unpleasant. And this somatic awareness with aromatherapy actually helps us bring that calm back to our nervous system and bring it back to a state of balance. Now, essential oils, how they affect the brain. Essential oils, when we inhale them, it actually activates the limbic system, which is part of our brain that's related to emotions. And it helps modulate stress response. And like I was speaking before about parasympathetic nervous system, it brings us to a state of rest and digest. And that is part of our autonomic nervous system. So it influences both on the brain level and also on the physical level in our body. So whenever we're inhaling, and this is the method that I mostly recommend, inhalation. Of course, there's other methods that you could use, but we will mostly, what we use it is for inhalation because it does both. It affects the brain and it affects the body. And we immediately feel the release. Why are we combining somatic awareness and aromatherapy? So awareness in general, when we become aware of something, it brings us to a state of noticing what is going on. So that awareness brings us to a state where we notice what is going on with me. What is going on with this thing that is going on with me? Most of the time, that's what we say, right? There's something going on and I need to put my finger on it. So we come to that state. And what aromas do, they help us shift from that state. They facilitate a faster and deeper integration of balance. Now, let's talk a little bit about some emotional states that you most likely experience or you're aware of. These are very personal, and how we use essential oils to actually bring that calm and balance back to the nervous system. Now, there are some oils that bring that value of grounding, and these oils are usually used for feelings of overwhelm, restlessness, or disconnection. And a modern world, we would say anxious feelings. So oils like vetiver, frankincense, cedarwood, they're very grounding. Whenever we have inhaled them, they bring us to a state of becoming slow, grounded, and the nervous system feels that. So it comes down to that state of slowness and the activity slows down. Why? Because they have those molecules, that deep earthy molecules that allows for the nervous system to calm down, to ground down. When we think of stress and irritation, we want to bring calm to our system. Then we always go for oils like lavender, Roman chamomile, bergamot. They have that calming effect and they support activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our system of resting and digesting, bringing that calm to our body. And there are some oils that actually help us with emotional opening. There may be some times when we don't know why we are feeling what we're feeling, but we do know that there's some kind of disconnection going on. And these are mostly floral oils like rose, neroli, jasmine. And their effect is directly in the brain, the limbic emotional processing system. That's where things get kind of stuck and we're not able to process and release it so quickly. So what it does, these oils allow for bringing that softness to that guarded state of our limbic system and allow for emotions to release or kind of melt away, just like when we say we do TM, stress melts away. These oils have the same effect. They allow the limbic system to process some repressed emotions that we cannot notice on the surface level. And then, of course, there are times when we need something uplifting, when we are feeling a little low mood-wise and feel a little fatigued. These are oils like sweet orange, grapefruit, and lemon. They stimulate alertness and mood. Like I said before, most of the time we like to promote inhaling essential oils, and we could do this a few ways. We could um, put a drop on a tissue and inhale it from that. This is mostly for people who are very sensitive to scents. So when we want to introduce them just to scents. So you want to put a drop on a tissue and inhale it. Put a drop on a cotton ball, inhale it. You could put a drop directly on your hand. And this is after having a lot of experience with the oils, really having established your relationship with the oil. Then you could put it on the palm of your hand and you can rub it and you can inhale it. And diffusers are the best way to use essential oils and for inhalation. But most of the time, if you have no access to any of these, opening a bottle of essential oil and inhaling it directly from a distance, not too close, you could really benefit from its effect in your mind and body. And one of the things that I really do recommend is always go one oil at a time. Don't overwhelm when you're inhaling oils. Don't overwhelm yourself having 3 or 4 different kinds of oils. Just one oil at a time, and then take a good break before inhaling another oil. It's just one sniff is good enough, small amount. And so now if you are ready, and if you could just bring yourself here to like this present moment and just calm yourself down. We don't have to have an essential oil. Let's just practice or get a taste of what somatic awareness is. So if you could just close your eyes and sit comfortably in your space and just bring your awareness to your body. And be with it for a little bit. Where do you feel that imprint? By imprint, I mean a sensation. And feel free to put your hand in that area. And just sit with it. And you bring your attention to it. When we're doing this exercise with aromatherapy, this is when we introduce the aroma. And you will know which aroma to introduce at this point, because not all aromas are for the same sensation. And the sensation usually tells you what it is, so you become aware of just one word definition for it. This is just by you paying attention to it. And just be present with it. And let your attention flow through it. And here you take your time with it. For some of us, this may be minutes. For some of us, it may be more than a few minutes. So you just sit with it. And become aware of any shifts that are occurring. The sensation may move to a different area in your body. Or the sensation may totally melt away. And for some, nothing may happen, and it's okay. We all have different experiences. There is no expectation. That's why we bring our attention to it without any expectations, and we be with it. And this is Vedic somatic awareness. When you're ready, you could just come back by gently opening your eyes. And you will get a chance to share your experience.
Yeah, some wanted a little more guidance on what an imprint would be. I think you used the word sensation. You also mentioned there might not be any sensation, but I'm wondering if you do have any thoughts about how you guide people who might not be as aware of where to start feeling.
Yes, that happens, and that's very normal. If you don't feel anything, it's okay. It's all about experience, and it's all about practicing it over and over. And the whole idea is to go into the practice without any expectation. So if when you're going without expectation, you may be more aware of if there is a sensation or not. But if you're going there and looking for something, then you may not find anything because you're looking, your attention is divided. The whole
Mm-mm.
idea is just sit and be and become aware of your own body, and then become aware of not look, just become aware of in that stillness, become aware of that sensation. And that imprint is basically that sensation. We call it imprints because it has a Vedic psychology aspect to it. But when we are speaking just vocabulary that's more relatable to everyone, it's a sensation.
Then I guess some people are pulling up symptoms of pain. Is that part of the category of sensation? Like, let's say knee pain or,
Yes.
yeah.
So pain, if you feel that sensation, pain,
Mhm.
yes, you will sit with that pain. And if there are specific aromas that you are aware of, that you inhale at that point, it will help with the emotional side of the pain. So it
Mm.
will make it would help with the intensity, for example, and it will help you more accepting that yes, this pain is physically there,
Yeah.
and you know I need to take care of it. And of course, there's other aspects of like Ayurvedic aspect comes in there, and that's a whole different topic that we could talk about what pain is from that perspective. So I hope that practice of just being and coming into that awareness somatically in your body, somatic, that's what it means. It's increase some introspection and your body moves towards regulation from there. And all this practice not only helps us um, become aware of those sensations in our body, the imprints that we mentioned before, it also helps us become more emotionally resilient or emotionally intelligent, increases our emotional intelligence. And awareness always allows us to do that early detection. And that's what this is all about. Our awareness is the key for everything. And if when we're using the aromas, it supports that regulation. And as we practice that, we're actually rewiring the patterns. And that's in the brain and also the physical imprints of it from our body. We are releasing it and repatterning it. So here, um, we all know that holistic health is expanding, and there is more need for those who will actually know natural ways or more of holistic ways. I don't want to just say natural because we're all whole beings. And when we are talking about natural, we really have to look at whole person. And that's what we learn in our program. It is not the symptoms or the disease that you're treating. That's why it's easier for people to say that how do we apply aromatherapy to cancer? How do we apply it to this disorder? How do we apply it to this imbalance? Um, I cannot tell you that because I have to look at you as who you are as a whole person and really get to the root cause of where this imbalance started and do reverse engineering and bring you back to balance. I'm not saying that aromatherapy will cure cancer, it will cure any imbalance, but I can tell you this. the way we address imbalances always brings that person back to balance. And when that person is in balance, then there is no dis-ease. So this is more, the whole program is more integration of science and traditional knowledge, what we say, wisdom-based knowledge, Maharishi Ayurveda. And this program here, like Karen introduced the whole university's philosophy. There's science and there's consciousness-based education. You'll have clinical understanding of what you're doing. You'll have practical training. And also there's professional certification on that. And then here's who this path is for. Those of you who have passion for natural healing or balancing or holistic health, you have more interest in mind-body connection. You have a desire to help others regulate and balance yourself as well, because in our program, the focus is more on the students, because in order to become a good practitioner, you need to address your imbalances first. And that's how you could relate to your clients' imbalances, and you can explain it better to them. So there's a lot of self-development and professional development throughout the program, 3 years.